This is Top Accolade Global News Update. I am Abiodun Mohammed. China said on Monday it sought dialogue and peace for Ukraine, despite US warnings that it might be considering weapon supplies for its ally, Russia's invasion. Air raid sirens blared in the capital Kiev and other cities overnight, and a Russian missile killed one person in the western town of Melnitsky. Mayor Alexandra Simshanshin said on the Telegram messaging app, the all clear sounded after daybreak. China, which declared a no-limit alliance with Russia shortly before the invasion a year ago, has refused to condemn the onslaught, most recently at a weekend meeting of the Group of 20 G20 major economies. On Friday, the first anniversary of the war, China published a 12-point plan calling for a ceasefire and gradual de-escalation by both sides, warning against the use of nuclear weapons and saying conflict benefited no one. Kiev struck a receptive tone while reiterating there can be no peace without a total Russian withdrawal, a non-starter for Moscow, but Beijing's proposals caught little eyes among Ukraine's NATO military alliance supporters. On Monday, China said it had kept contact with all sides in the crisis, including Kiev, and its position was clear. Israeli settlers have carried out arson attacks on Palestinian houses in Nablus hours after Israeli and Palestinian officials pledged to implement measures to de-escalate tensions amid surging violence in the occupied West Bank. In a joint statement at the end of the meeting in the Red Sea resort of Aqaba in Jordan on Sunday, Israeli and Palestinian officials said that they would work closely to prevent further violence and that they reaffirmed the necessity of committing to de-escalation on the ground. Israel was committed to stop discussing setting up any new settlement unit for 4 months and stop approving any new settlement for 6 months, a joint statement said. After thorough and frank discussions, the Palestinian and Israeli sides reaffirmed the need to commit to de-escalation on the ground and to prevent further violence, it said. The joint statement came at the end of a meeting also attended by US, Egyptian and Jordanian officials amid growing concerns over an escalation of violence in the run-up to the holy Muslim month of Ramadan that begins in late March. At least 62 people, including 12 children, have died after a boat carrying refugees sank off the Italian coastal city of Crotone in the southern region of Calabria. The vessel had set sail from Turkey several days ago with refugees from Afghanistan, Iran and several other countries and crashed on Sunday in stormy weather near Steccato di Cutro, a seaside resort on the eastern coast of Calabria. 81 people survived, with 20 hospitalized, including one person in intensive care. Manuela Cura, a provincial government official, told newsmen. One survivor was arrested on migrant trafficking charges, the Guardia di Finanza Customs Police said. Cutro's mayor, Antonio Serrazzo, said women and children were among the dead. The exact number of child fatalities was not yet available. Serrazzo told the Sky TG24 news channel that he had seen in quote a spectacle that you would never want to see in your life, a gruesome sight that stays with you for all your life, end of quote. Cura said the vessel left Izmir in eastern Turkey 3 or 4 days ago, adding that survivors had said some 140 to 150 were on board. Environmental campaigner Greta Thunberg and dozens of other activists on Monday blocked entrances to Norway's energy ministry, protesting against wind turbines built on land traditionally used by indigenous Sami reindeer herders. Thunberg, a vocal advocate for ending the world's reliance on carbon-based power, said the transition to green energy could not come at the expense of indigenous rights. Norway's Supreme Court in 2021 ruled that 2 wind farms built in central Norway violated Sami rights under international conventions, but the turbines remain in operation. More than 60 months later, reindeer herders in the Nordic country say the sight and sound of the giant wind power machinery frighten their animals and disrupt age-old traditions. The ministry said the ultimate fate of the wind farms is a complex legal quandary despite the Supreme Court ruling, and is hoping to find a compromise. That is the size of Top Accolade News Update. You can follow us on our social media platforms as displayed on your screen. Happy New Week!